All you want to take, that there's a mistake.
And what do you know that every scout and coach on earth does not?
I'm thinking. I want total control of my team. I want to be able to recruit anybody that I want. No interference.
My word is my bond.
I want it in writing.
Missed it by that much.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary Sunday Draft Spotlight. I'm here with Bob Quinn. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Happy to
Awesome.
be here and talk some Steelers draft.
All right, let's get right to it. Let's talk about the pro days this week that just passed. South Carolina, me and you were talking to see, we thought Tomlin might go to South Carolina, but he did not. Gerald Alexander, DB coach, worked out Eman a little bit, kept eyes on him. So that's interesting, to say the least. No surprise, the whole crew went to Alabama.
Yeah.
Tomlin, Tom Art, the quarterback coach, was there. Interesting.
Right.
Just about everybody. Arthur Smith was there. Took Jalen Milroe out for a pro day dinner. Brother, I think Jalen Milroe is in play in round 3. What do you think?
I don't think in round 3. I guess he could be, but it kind of goes to this whole idea that the Steelers want a running quarterback, but they had a running quarterback they didn't use, and now all of a sudden they want to do a running quarterback again. If we get Milroe, I'm kind of on record. If we get somebody in the 4th round and it's Milroe, it's Dart, it's McCord, it's any of those guys, I'm okay with any of them as a flyer in the 4th or 5th round. I think now that we've lost the 2nd round pick, I think you really got to make sure on these first 2 picks that you hit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, without a 2nd round pick, it becomes risky to take a quarterback with that 3rd round pick. It's going to be very, very important. But the fact that Arthur Smith and Tom Arth were both there,
yeah,
I think that says a lot. That's a little telling.
I think, in fairness, too, it's doing their due diligence. It's just being smart about
true.
the draft process. You got to go look at a guy who might be available to you.
And I gave them shit early on in the process when I didn't think they were taking quarterbacks seriously. Like at the Senior Bowl, they weren't really looking at quarterbacks. And at least do due diligence, learn things. And now it seems they are. So give them credit for that. Anything else in Alabama? No. Then they did not go to Michigan. Oh, God.
One thing I do want to say about Alabama is watch out for Tate Rutledge if he's there in the 4th round. I know we don't necessarily need a guard, but
I think we do need a guard. I'm with you on that. I think that's in play. Yes.
I think we could get him maybe in the 4th and kind of do that stack drafting that Philadelphia likes to do. And Weidl has the heavy Philadelphia influence. And kind of like last year where James Daniels, you brought in Mason McCormick to compete and hopefully unfortunately, he lost his job due to injury. But the hope was that by halfway through the season, we're going to transition. I think you have to start looking at doing the same thing with Isaac. I don't think I know you're down on Isaac. I don't think he's been a bad player for us. I just think he wasn't.
No, he hasn't been a bad player.
Guard.
Yeah, he hasn't been a bad player. He's just slightly above average, and he's entering his mid-30s almost. He's going to be 32 or 33. So I thought that was a position they could upgrade. I'm fine with him for one more year. I'm not mad that he's still on the team. I just thought with the other 4 guys being young and they're not going to change those guys, I thought that was the one spot where they could, upgrade, improve. They didn't. No big deal. He's fine.
Yeah.
So then we get to the Michigan Pro Day, which the Steelers did not go to, thanks to Uncle Aaron and his meeting. We'll talk more about that on tomorrow's show. It seems imminent, but we don't have any confirmation yet that Mr. Uncle Aaron's going to be a Steeler. So Kenneth Grant, I want to talk a little bit about Kenneth Grant. Yeah. His pro day workout was less than ideal, to be nice.
After a good combine workout, too.
Yeah, but he didn't do a lot of the stuff at the combine, right? He only did a few things. He didn't run or do the broad jump, I don't think. Or did he?
Yeah. I thought he ran. Hold on, let me just double check. But I'm pretty sure he ran because it was surprising that he moved as fast as he did for a big guy.
Well, while you're looking that up, I crunched the numbers from his pro day. He would have finished 18th in the broad jump if those numbers held in the combine. His vertical would have been 15th overall. His 40-yard dash would have been 10th. And his bench press, which he did do at the combine, I found that was last out of all the guys that did. So
He did
with that cut,
in the bench.
he just did the bench, right? Yeah.
Right.
So with that kind of performance, does that push him out of the first round? I think it does.
Well, I mean, broad jump's important, vertical's important, but I don't know that I care that my 340-pound nose guard can't do a long broad jump or have a big vertical jump. He's 6'4" and 330 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, I get it, but it's against other 6+ 300+ guys, and that shows burst, right? And power and stuff like that. So that's concerning. It's concerning.
yeah, no, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's not. I think he can get a little too caught up in measurables with defensive linemen. But that being said, I've evolved on Kenneth Grant. I wouldn't be upset if the Steelers took him in the first round, but I was watching. I think it was on Starkey's show. I was watching on YouTube the feed, and they talked about the fact that no matter who you draft as a defensive lineman, if you get a guy like Grant, you get a guy like Walter Nolan or Pegas or Ty Robinson in the later rounds, you're getting a nose. You're bringing that guy in as a nose. And the Steelers only play the base 3-4 25% of the time. So now you start to look at it as, do we really want to spend as much as we need defensive line? And I don't disagree with that. But as much as we need defensive line, do we really want to take a guy who's only going to play 1 out of 4 snaps as our first round pick in a year where we desperately need to get starters? I don't know. I don't know if there's enough of a drop off. If Grant falls, obviously, yeah, you would love to see that, but I don't think he falls too far into the second round if he falls. I also think that, as far as the defensive line goes, Nolan, Graham, and Grant, I still see those guys all going in the first round.
Yeah, I think this pushes Walter Nolan up ahead of him for me. It pushes Harmon, the kid from Oregon, up ahead of him for me. He becomes like the 5th or 6th. And I don't know if I want to use a first-round pick on a guy who's borderline first-round talent. Maybe with a deep defensive tackle class where you can maybe get a guy in the 3rd who's maybe not as good, but if he's just a nose tackle, then pick a nose tackle in the 3rd. And
I think the way it falls is important. And I another guy I've evolved on is I was adamant I don't want a running back in the first round. And now I kind of like the idea of a Marion Hampton in the first round.
I do too.
I think if Uncle Aaron and guys in the chat are talking about Uncle Aaron, I think if Uncle Aaron is the guy, and I think there's a good chance that he is now because he actually showed up and visited, then maybe you do get him, because unlike Ben's year where it was, okay, we're just going to pick a bunch of offensive linemen late and we're going to get Najee. For better or for worse, the offensive line is all young and high draft picks at this point. So they may suck, but you got to roll with them. You got to just put them out there and say, okay, you're either going to be really good or we're going to be really bad.
Yeah, I like the Hampton thing. Here's the thing that you have to weigh. You get Hampton in the 1st, and how far is the fall off to the defensive tackle in the 3rd that you pick? Or if you get, say, a Walter Nolan in the 1st, you could conceivably get a DJ Giddens, the kid out of Miami that you like.
Yeah, Damian Martinez.
There's a few. Yep.
Yeah.
2 and 2. Yeah. So that's what the Steelers have to weigh is like, yeah, we can get a dynamic back in the 1st round, but then we might get stuck in the 3rd round at defensive tackle, or take the best defensive tackle and then go back and get a pretty good running back in the 3rd round. That's what they're going to have to decide. That's going to be the big decision for them, because I'm with you. I'd love to see Hampton. I'd love to just go offense. Yeah. Hampton in the 1st, a wide receiver in the 3rd, if there's anyone available. Then fill in the cracks with the defense after it. I'm still hoping they might, after the draft, sign another defensive lineman to kind of shore that up, because I don't like the room right now at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I
we'll see if that happens.
I think there's some guys you can get for corner on day 3 who could come in and maybe compete a little bit. I'm also not down on Corey Trice as much as, we saw the bad effort, and I don't even know that it was a bad effort for the kid's first game. If that kid could stay healthy and on the field, he's still kind of an interesting guy because he's so big, and I like big corners. I don't think he's as fast as he even was, and he had injury problems in college.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a guy where if all of a sudden he played a lot next year with Slay and Joey Porter, and I think it's an interesting choice to put him as a slot corner because he's so much bigger. Or a guy kind of like why I liked him in Worry or Siobhan Revelle is I get a big corner and who can cover the tight ends. Could be interesting, but you're right. I think we do need some people to come into the room. James Pierre being re-signed does not do it for me. I really don't ever want to see him playing corner except in the preseason again. I do like him. I like him on special teams. Yeah, but
think about me for Corey Trice. He's got to be your CB4.
Yeah, or he's got to show you. Yeah,
well, bring a dependable backup, and maybe they think that kid they brought in from the Jets is that guy. Then, if Corey Trice has a great spring and a great training camp and a great preseason, then maybe you use him more. But you can't rely on him because he's so injury prone. It's tough for him to be a primary backup for these guys because he's so brittle. Greg Holt brings up Calais Campbell's a free agent. I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because I'm always banging on them for signing 30-plus-year-old free agents. But man, Calais Campbell's another one of these unicorns, right? Like Hayward, the guy just keeps playing. I wouldn't hate that one. I wouldn't hate that one at all.
Because theoretically, then you could because Cam and Calais Campbell, if that's your defensive ends, Benton is the nose, but he's also rotating at the outside position. And you get another solid rotation. I mean, let's face it, they've signed a bunch of guys to try to be a rotational fourth guy and just, hey, we'll just throw everything at it and see what happens. Bring back Loudermilk. I didn't love that, but as a depth guy, he's not terrible. I do think they're high on Logan Lee. I've heard that a lot. That Logan Lee is a guy they expect can compete and kind of be in that mix. If they
he can't be a nose, right? So they want to move whatchamacallit off the nose and put somebody else there. So
Benton has kind of showed he can handle.
Yeah, they want Benton to be on an end, I think, because he should be an end. He shouldn't be the nose tackle.
In a 3-4 as a defensive tackle, I think he's a better fit because essentially as a 3-4, it's 2 defensive tackles and a nose.
Yeah. And he should be on the outside, not the nose. They've been using him as the nose, and it's not really his position.
I think him splitting the guard and tackle is not a bad thing, and I think it helps the run game. I think when he lines up center guard, it's not so much that he gets washed out. It's just if you look where the Steelers get burned, it's off tackle. It's not running over Cam. It was running at Ogunjobi a little more than running at Cam.
That's hence why Larry Ogunjobi is no longer with us.
Yeah. And Calais, I mean, let's face it, still played very effective football last year. Now, typically he's been a 4-3 guy.
Yeah,
so
he has.
I would be interested to see as he moves in as an older guy. I think he could do some good things, but I also think you have got to have 2 guys and rotate. It has got to be a rotation in there with Calais and Cam.
All right, let's take a look at next week before we get to our mock draft we're going to do in a couple minutes here. Next week's super interesting, Bob. March 24th is North Carolina and Auburn. You would like to see the crew end up in North Carolina to look at Omari and Hampton. That would be a great sign if at least Tomlin and Khan went there. After that, 3/25, March 25th is Texas. So that'd be interesting to see if they show up there.
They're going there. Yeah.
They usually do. March 26th is LSU and Ohio State. So I
think you gotta go Ohio State this year.
Ohio State's loaded with prospects. LSU's got a few too, though.
But not quite as. It's not a typical LSU year.
No, it's not. So that's interesting. March 27th is Florida, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. Meh. Texas A&M, maybe. Florida doesn't really have a lot of prospects this year.
I like
Notre
the
Dame's
kid
got a
Yeah.
couple.
I like the kid out of Florida, the defensive tackle, who I think you can get on day 3, Cam Jackson. I think he's a pretty good player, but he's a down the board defensive tackle who has some upside. I mean, based on I don't know. I think he just split up on those. I wouldn't be surprised if Tomlin and Khan didn't go to any of those 3. Maybe Texas A&M because of Stewart.
Stewart and Scouton is an edge rusher. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
in for edge rusher, but he's a top, like a first round, second round prospect. And then March 28th is the big one. It's either Penn State or it's Ole Miss. We were talking about it just before we got on. They got to go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is Walter Nolan, Trey Harris, my guy Jackson Dart. They've got
Amos.
it's Amos. Yep. I would be shocked if the crew didn't end up in Mississippi for that pro day.
Yeah, I think you have to go there. And if you're going to do due diligence on Bill Rowe, you got to go do the same thing on Dart, because I still think this is a lot of smoke about Dart and Shuck and some of these guys that they're going to fall out. I saw McShay talked about it this week, where it's not that he thinks they'll fall out of the first round. He just doesn't feel like these are really first round talent quarterbacks.
Greg Holt brings up a great question. This kid, Karen Lacey, was a top wide receiver prospect until his legal issues. I don't know where he stands. He's in all the mocks still. Yeah. He goes late because of it. Again, if this was Kevin Colbert, I tell you, this is a good chance, because he's the typical athlete with the 10-cent head that unfortunately Colbert really liked, which produced some excitement on the field, but a lot of headaches too. I don't know where Karen Lacey and in the status. I have no idea. Legally, he's in some trouble. And even not even on the field, he was kind of known for, he made a machine gun gesture one time on the field, and he's done some shit on the field too. But talented kid. So he'll probably put up great numbers at the pro day and get people excited. He'll probably run in the low 4.4s probably, and get people all excited.
I mean, bottom line, Greg is right. He's from LSU, so as a wide receiver, I mean, that's the gold standard. When in doubt, take an LSU wide receiver and you'll be okay. But you don't want a guy who you're. But then again, we picked Roman Wilson. He didn't get on the field, so maybe you roll the dice. I will say this: I'm coming around to the idea that the Steelers will only trade George Pickens if he demands it, which is unfortunate because we'll be screwed. But if it's DK, Pickens, and
Uncle Aaron, Hampton,
Matthew Golden, maybe.
Don't tease me with Matthew. Well, you're not going to get Hampton and Golden. You got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, it'd be one or the other. It'd be Golden or Hampton, a first round weapon. And then I think if you go whichever guy you get in the first, you draft the other position in the third, maybe the fourth, because I do love Torrey Horton.
Give me Golden in the first, and give me Giddens or somebody else in the third. I am over the moon. Over the moon, because then now you're back to killer B type offensive weapons at that point, and
you got a succession plan. If Pickens plays good citizen, but at the end of the year they just don't feel like they can afford it, then okay, if you walk and we get the compensatory pick, we've already got DK and Golden to go forward with. But
it just feels like they traded for Metcalf so they could trade Pickens, right? They're very similar skill sets. So having them both would be fun for sure. But I don't know if that, and I just saw something on X a couple of days ago, how Aaron Rodgers likes to have his route runner that he can depend on. You know, he always likes to have that, and we don't have that right now. There is no, route running expert on this team. You got two go ball guys and Calvin Austin.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see who they pick as the third wide receiver, because I could easily see if it's Pickens and DK. Pickens has a little bit of ability over the middle of the field. It's just we haven't seen it. And DK has a little bit of ability over the middle of the field, but you didn't see it a ton in Seattle. So I think if you get a guy like Golden or Torrey Horton or Jaden Higgins, and he's your kind of reliable route runner guy, along with you hope Fryermuth finally blossoms there, it could be an interesting offense. It's just going to be a matter of don't count. And by the way, if Aaron comes here, don't count out on him. Going out and getting one of the guys he's very comfortable
Lazard
with as a route
like
runner,
that. Yeah.
and saying, okay, here's our third guy. You want me, you got to sign him. And it wouldn't cost you a ton of money.
No.
So I don't hate that idea.
I wonder if they signed Scotty Miller for that reason. As that slot route runner type guy. I know he's not very good, but
he's not as good as Austin. I think Austin could potentially fill that role. It'd just be whether it clicked. And I also wouldn't count out, the idea that all of a sudden Roman Wilson looks a lot better running drag routes when there's a guy who can hit him on the run.
yeah, Roman Wilson's a complete and unknown right now. Just a complete unknown. We don't know what the hell we have in him. All right. Before we get to our mark, let's do one more thing. I'll go over the confirmed pre-draft visits we have so far. I'll update this every week when we do our draft show. It's Tyler Shuck, DJ Giddens, Dylan Sampson, Bashul Tootin, Ollie Gordon. A lot of second and third round running backs coming in. Jalen Noel, who would be a pretty good slot route running option in the third round if he's still around. Savion Williams, Jaden Higgins, your guy. Wyatt Millum, who's a local one, so that doesn't count for West Virginia. JJ Pegas from Ole Miss. Yaya Black is a massive defensive tackle for Iowa, late round guy.
Yeah.
Joshua Farmer is a new one, which is interesting. He's in that third round range. That could be. So if you could get Omarion Hampton and Joshua Farmer.
Oh, I would
Now you're
love
cooking.
that.
Oh, Mr. Korab has joined us. Let's
Entered
add
the
him in.
building. Oh, there we go.
Mr. Korab is here.
What's up, boys?
What's going on? We just
He
finished
heard
up
my
talking about.
draft and he came running.
Yeah.
He's a busy man. Just finished up his Pirate podcast. You guys should check that out. Hodgepodge of Nothingness.
Yep, the hodgepodge of nothingness is done. It's been taking forever processing, so that's why I'm later than usual. But yeah, no, we're done with that. So on back to the Steelers. So what's up? What are we talking?
So what do you think of all the attention Jalen Milroe got this week?
I don't like it. I'm just not a fan, guys. I don't. Nothing about him impresses me at all, other than his speed. Day 3 pick, sure. I swear to God, if they take him to third, I'll lose my mind. That's how I
Dave,
feel.
I'm warming up to it a little bit.
Oh God.
He flashed that 4.3 speed, and I'm just like, there's got to be something there. There's got to be. We could teach him to be accurate, right? We could teach him. Do something.
You just said the Steelers can
I
teach
know.
this kid.
I know. It doesn't bring me down. I just got excited. Now you're bringing me down.
He
Sorry.
throws a hell of a toss sweep.
Coming off a Pirates podcast, I'm little
You're in it, right? You're in the
little
doldrum.
negative right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me try to dial it back a little bit. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with the fact that he just can hit the side of a barn right now. He could hit the ocean off a boat, but
Right. Like,
listen, I don't know. He's kind of exciting, and I'm desperate for kind of exciting at this point. So
yeah, I mean,
because we're staring at the possibility of a Mason Rudolph season. It's not locked, but it's there.
look,
The possibility's there.
day 3, I'm fine with it. As long as it's day 3. I don't want them going overvalue for anybody at any position. Just don't take them with the third round pick. They have so many other things that they should
Yeah,
probably go
I get
after.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
That's what
Then
we
we-
were. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say that's what we were talking about earlier. Is I think we're all, hey, it doesn't matter who on day 3, but day 1 and day 2 is where we go. Hold on.
Yeah, there no doubt.
And then we talked a little bit about Kenneth Grant, and he was a little disappointing at his pro day. I think it pushes him out of the first round, Dave. I really do. I think he's going to be early second now. I think guys like Walter Nolan and a couple other guys have kind of leapfrogged him now. But we'll see. We'll see. It's just testing, so it doesn't totally. The tape's the tape, but the knock on Kenneth Grant is consistency, right? And maybe he's inconsistent because he's not that good an athlete. I mean, we have to look at that too.
But see, I watched that film of him running down running backs from
Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
and I'm like, did he just not test well? Like, just had a
That
bad
happens too.
day?
But the pro day is where you're supposed to flourish.
Yeah, I mean, right, but sometimes shit happens too. So I don't know. My guy picked a bad day to
Yeah,
suck.
no,
I'll put that
he had
way.
a bad day, didn't feel good. That's totally possible.
Yeah.
Completely possible.
I just
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. When I watched that second gear at his size, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know we get focused on those RAS scores a lot, but sometimes they're just football players, man. Like they're just
Yeah.
and that's just the gist of it. Now I know. I mean, I still remember back when we after the horrible oh man, they drafted him, Jarvis Jones, and he had horrible spark scores. Remember when they used to use
when
size,
the
power,
spark, yeah,
agility,
yeah,
response, and quickness?
I do remember that.
Like
I was all over
they
that shit.
started utilizing that spark system way more to evaluate players because they didn't want to make that disastrous, mistake again. So I know that we focus on that kind of stuff. Now it's evolved into the RAS score. But I don't know. When I watch the film, I like what I see. I'll put it that way.
And
Is he perfect? No, but
in fairness to Jarvis too, I mean his back was so screwed up
yeah,
that
it was.
the upside of him was 5 great years, and then he's probably gone because he wouldn't hold up. So it was always, and like you said, kind of not to. We're gonna try not to bash Kevin Colbert today, so it can be day one of that.
Yeah, right. Give me a break for once.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the kind, like you said, it's the kind of guy that Colbert loved to take. Bad seed. Okay, I'll take a risk on a guy who could be great with interesting injury history. I think Omar really ignores injury history, but
He does.
Colbert, if he thought the guy could be great, would ignore the injury history.
You're right, Dave, though, because they went spark score after that. Bud Dupree was like 9.89, and then Ryan Shazier was like almost a 10. They went the complete opposite direction after that. They went
it definitely
too heavy
changed
that
things
way
for them.
Yeah.
After that. All right, I think that's it. Bob, you want to do the mock? Want to get it going?
I'll go ahead and share the screen here. Okay, so here's the way
I'm
it's
just
gonna
in time
work.
for that. Good.
So here's the way it's going to work. We're going to use the PFF simulator, and when it comes up on the screen, we'll see who's available. So I'll say who I want to pick. Dave will say who he wants to pick. David will say, and you guys in the chat, throw up who you guys want, and then we'll kind of come to a consensus who you guys have, and then we'll post all 4 on X, and we'll throw a poll up, and we'll see who everybody thinks had the best draft.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down.
All right, so let's go ahead. 7 rounds. We're the Steelers. I do like to set the settings to the PFF versus public. We'll bring the care for positional value up to the E, and let's go. All right, so let's start the draft. And we've decided we're not going to do any trades.
Yeah.
Even if we're tempted, we're not going to do
Which
any
we
trades.
will be.
All right, so pick 21. Got Luther Burden, who's consistently falling. Pierce, who's a nice player on the edge, but
Pierce,
I know
I
I'm
love.
not there. We got Kenneth Grant. We got Walter Nolan. We got O'Marion. We got the tight end from Michigan here, Loveland.
I don't think he's going to be there at that point, but
I think we start to really reach as we scroll down a little bit here. I'm tempted by Burden, but I know what I would do based on what this is looking like. I'm going Hampton.
all right. Bob goes Hampton. Dave, what are you doing?
I'm between Burden and Grant. I really do like Grant a lot, guys. But Burden, fuck. With we know George is gone next year. Fuck it. I'm going Luther Burden, man.
All right. Burden for Dave. I'm going Hampton too. I'm rolling dice. I'm going to get a defensive tackle in the 3rd.
I'm fucking shocked. I knew you'd take Amar Hampton.
All right, so the chat, we got a lot of Grant, we got a lot of Nolan, we got a lot of Derek Harmon. So you guys are pretty unified on a defensive tackle. If you can throw in chat which one of the 3 you want to go.
A lot of Grant here. Derek Harmon.
Yeah,
which
give him Grant.
I don't blame the whole Harmon either.
Oh, Vaughn wants Harmon. Let's do Harmon for them.
Okay. Greg and Vaughn want Harmon. Sniper wants Grant or Nolan. Shower Curtain wants Grant. All right. So being that 2 out of 3 are for O'Marion Hampton, we're actually going to formally select O'Marion Hampton here.
All right.
Bullshit.
TJ wanted the Michigan tight end, which I don't hate either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually started off pretty well with the choices.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look. We were all the way down to pick 83. I don't think we can go tackle here or center.
No.
I do like RJ Harvey. I like that Jalen Noel is here.
Your Giddens there, but we just took a running back. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But
What's the best defensive tackle on the board right now?
yeah, that's good. It's a good point.
All right, let's filter it by position.
Ooh, I do
Deion
like.
Walker.
I like Deion Walker.
Oh, I heard he tested real bad, Dave. Like
Did he?
real bad. Like really bad.
You know, if it's me, I might roll the dice and gamble that I can get Pegasus with the next pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pegasus probably falls, dude. Yeah,
I think I might go Jalen Noel here. Give me my slot receiver here.
Yeah, I know that's we
Wait,
had
was
talked
he-
about going offense.
Oh yeah,
off.
he is right there. Okay, man, I should put my glasses on when we do this so I can see.
I need
better.
glasses. I don't have them with me, so I'm going to be struggling from here on out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's think about this a little bit. So no, if you're thinking wide receivers, so now we didn't take any of these defensive linemen in the
No,
first
fuck
3
it.
rounds. No, fuck it. Okay.
What's the old guy we were going to take sign Bob?
Calais Campbell.
We're going to say
Campbell.
Calais Campbell after the draft.
Yeah, I mean, Vaughn's got a good point on Pegasus. I mean, I understand the thinking.
Yep.
But remember, for the chat, you guys took defensive line in the first round, so
Yeah.
Well, I'm going off yours now. You guys went running back, so now
Yeah,
I have
so-
to go off you. I'm going Walker.
No. You
No, for your own. We want to know your own pick. Then we'll get
Oh,
consensus after.
Oh, I didn't. Well, shit. Okay, let me. All right.
I like Pegasus, but I feel like with that 124, we can get him in the
All
next round.
So I went Burden, wide receiver.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going Walker. Is my
Deion
third
Walker?
round pick. Mhm.
Okay. Greg Holt likes Noel. I'm going Noel too.
Yeah, Dave and I agree on this. I mean, although.
Wait, what did you guys go? What are you going with?
Noel, wide
Okay.
receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I think based on the value there, you.
So for the record, these boneheads did not take any D linemen
Nope.
on day 1 or day 2 of the draft.
Yeah, but
All
we
right.
got Uncle Aaron, we got Pickens, Metcalf, Noel, Hampton. It's the Killer Bees, Dave. We're bringing back the Killer Bees.
Yes,
And-
We're going to do offense.
and we're giving up 300 yards rushing to the Ravens
Let's
in
do
the
it.
playoffs again. Yes,
I'm all for it.
absolutely.
David, who was your pick on that one?
Deion Walker.
Okay. All right, in the chat, what do we got here?
Oh, let me see.
We got
I don't think you guys want to double up on defensive line. Then again, maybe you do.
TJ cracks me up. Sorry, I'm just ready for a watchable offense for 1 year.
all right. This is you and me both, brother. You and me both.
Yeah, no, I get it. I really do. But I got Burden in the first, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
All right, so I guess you guys are thinking about this here based on who
Is
was
this-
available.
Oh, is this the 4th round?
Yeah.
No, we're still in the third round, right?
No.
Well, we picked in the third.
Okay.
And moved on to the fourth. But we didn't have a consensus from the chat to write down. So,
All right, so we're in the fourth
That's
now. You're going to have to
what-
read me
Yeah.
these, Bob, because I can't see these.
okay, no problem.
oh,
I
you're
don't want
right,
Will
Bob.
Howard. I could see that.
He was right. JJ Pegas fell to the 4th.
Oh?
He was right.
Oh.
Yep.
Well,
I guess
What's the best
there.
corner on the board before we pick Pegasus? Before I.
Ooh, that's a great point. If my guy's there, I know I'm taking. Mm.
Cy Alexander.
Damn.
He's a little
All these-
Yeah,
slow.
it gets thin. Gets thin.
Dude.
Denzel Burke.
Yeah, but I like Quincy Riley. I like Zai. Like I like those guys.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Guy
at
ran a
all.
little slow though.
Did he? Like what? 4.5?
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
for a corner, he's got good size.
Yeah,
And-
he's not bad. In this
Yeah.
round, it's not
I'm just
bad.
saying, like, if he's like Porter, where he ran a 4.5, but
Yeah, I mean, you could easily, you could make a case for it. I mean,
in the fourth, I absolutely could make a case for it.
Yeah, this far down.
I don't have much on Noah Williams, so that's tough for me. I
I
don't
was
know
reading
as much
about him today. I think he ran a pretty good 40.
Car.
Hold on. I think I'm going to go JJ Pegas here. I can't believe it. Can you pull up the defensive
Yeah.
lineman?
I mean, for
Well,
you guys, as mock, that's a great get in the fourth to have him there.
That was a good call by you.
Yeah, Bob,
Yeah.
that was spot on.
Pegas, Bills. I like Barrow. My man Tonka is rising. He's rising. He might be a fifth by the time the draft rolls around.
Yeah, I think because he had a visit. I'm going to go JJ Pegas.
I don't blame you guys. I think that's a great value pick, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. So, what are you thinking here, David?
That's a great question, Bob.
So you have Burden and
Mhm.
Walker so far.
Yep. Yeah. Just go back to the main thing. I'm going to take a corner.
Noel Williams ran a 4.5. 40.
4.5. Oh, that's no different than Zai Alexander.
33-inch vertical, 10-foot broad.
You want to take a peek at the running backs here?
No, give me Zai Alexander.
Okay. So we're gonna make this pick 4.
Did you take Pegas too,
So-
Bob?
Yes, I sure did. We're shot for shot here.
Yeah. And you
All
took
right.
Zai Alexander.
So now here we are, pick 156. Guy I love is here on the board. Trevor Etienne. I think that's an excellent cornerback or running back. I don't love Mitchell Evans. He's okay. Kyle Williams is here. My man Kyle McCord is here.
No.
So ups and stout. Is there a position you guys want some names on?
Can you check
But let me see.
QBs real quick? Check QBs real quick.
They're going to have Tyler Shock, but he's not going to be available.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's
I mean, you could take it, but he's not going to be in the fifth. I'd say up to third, maybe. I mean, if you want to take him, he's there. So
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with taking him.
I know, but I like Etienne too. Oh man.
Well, you want to see who the running backs are on the board to
Yeah,
decide
yeah,
whether you want to wait
yeah.
here?
Yep.
All right, so let me take quarterback out of this.
I was gonna say, I was like, what the hell?
All right, running back. You got
Greg Hall wants
Etienne.
McCord.
Yeah, I like Etienne. I'm not Ollie Gordon, but I'm not taking him now. There's no way. No, you know what? I'm taking Shuck.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, based on what his perceived value is versus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't argue too much with that.
Overall,
Hold
though, if I
corners.
get him, I'm happy. Like if I get him in
Yeah.
this round, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Pull up corners for me, Bob. See what we got left. We still need a corner.
Okay. There's a sneaky guy I like as in the quarters late.
I like that guy Langenhorn from Rutgers. He ran like a 4.3.
Yeah, longer beam. You mean?
Longer beam. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
So
take
you got O'Donnell Fortune from South Carolina, Denzel Burke, longer beam, Jalen Smith, Jason Marshall, but then you really start to dip into down the board.
Greg likes McCord.
Yep.
I agree with Greg. I am going to take Kyle McCord as well. I've been on
Okay.
him the whole time. And I think in
Dave,
the
you took-
round you can't go wrong.
ATM?
Who? Me?
Oh, you took Shuck.
I took Shuck.
Shot.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so and then Dave is taking longer beam at corner. All right.
I'm doing the
So-
Kevin Colbert. I'm taking the RAS King.
Yeah, I got you.
That'll
Okay, so it's pick 156.
Guess who's still there?
We'll say let's see.
Who's still there?
Trevor
No,
Etienne.
no, I'm trying to
wow.
decide who we're going to actually select for our grade. So, being that I'm controlling the screen, it's McCord.
There you go.
All right, so now we're down at pick.
Tyler Shuck's still
185.
there.
What the
Tyler
fuck?
Shuck was still there.
That's
What the
crazy.
hell?
That's not happening. That's
That
not
ain't happening. Wow.
Yep.
Like, can't believe he's still there. What's PFF doing?
Bob, pull up wide receivers for me.
Okay.
I might double dip here. Ty Felton or Dante Thornton. Ooh.
Really like Dante Thornton.
Ooh.
Dude, Felton.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't taken a wide receiver yet,
We have a wide receiver at Knoll, but I think I'm gonna double dip. I'm taking Felton.
Okay. Ty Felton.
I want offense all day. Von Tonka is a good pick too there.
never mind.
Bro,
Just-
I'm gonna play defensive back. Don't worry about it.
you do you, boo. Whatever.
I got
Yeah.
a nose tackle. I mean, I got defensive lineman. I got JJ Peck.
Yeah, I mean you're yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows how much I like Tonka. Just rolling down the board here.
This is 6th round, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And
Liz.
was ATN still there? ATN was still there, correct?
I don't believe so.
Oh,
Let me
damn
see
it.
what
I thought
running backs-
he
we got-
was.
Yeah, we got 2 picks left. We got 185 and 229. So for running back, you got Jordan James, Taj Brooks. I know the Steelers like Ollie Gordon. I
They
don't
do.
know that. I
In
don't
the
know
6th
that I
round?
love him.
Yeah, in the 6th, I like it. I'm gonna take
I
Ollie
wouldn't mind.
Gordon. I'm gonna take Ollie
All right.
Gordon. Yep.
Oh, all right. I'm a little bit torn here. I don't hate doubling up on Tonka. Let me just take a look at what's left of defensive back.
Dude, Ty Felton falling to the 6th is
Yeah.
that's a value pick.
I don't think he does, but man, I'm
Because
loving
he was like a guy that was only there like the 4th, and now he's lasting to the 6th.
it. And he ran like a good 40, right? Ty
I
Felton
thought
did.
so. I thought he did well. I don't understand why he's falling this far.
4.37
on
40, brother. I drafted some
Jesus.
fucking speed.
I'm gonna
Make me
double
GM.
up. I'm gonna double up on wide receiver too, but I'm gonna go Thornton.
Thornton is
So-
good too.
Yeah, a lot of raw.
He had to up me. He ran a 4.3 flat.
Okay, so we're
Yeah, Felton's a value pick. There's no doubt. I already know who I want in the 7th. I don't even got to look.
I think Thornton. At 6'5" and that speed. I mean that's a take the top off the defense guy. And if you got Noel, who's also twitchy and fast, that's really interesting to me.
Greg Holt brings up a good point. Dylan Fairchild is a good guard to develop. Guard, me and Bob talked before, could be in play for the Steelers in this draft somewhere later on.
Yeah, and
Just as depth alone.
And here coming into pick 229, I know David took Ollie Gordon last round, but here he still is in the 7th. I don't think he lasts till the 7th. I mean, I think
I was disappointed with our lack of defensive line.
Oh,
picks.
no. It's Vaughn. It's coming because I want Nazir Stackhouse if he's available.
Let's take a look. I'm perfectly comfortable with Pegas in the 4th, and
Click on-
with
that's
all with the massive amount of bodies they're signing. If
Yeah.
that's our top 3, and then you bring in Calais Campbell as a top 4, and then just all those other guys to fill out the roster, I'm okay with that.
I still don't get all the D lineman ads that are nobodies. But
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
they're just
I get
hoping
shower
they-
curtains thing, finding the backup plan for. But Nazir Stackhouse in the 7th to me is value. There he is. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm taking
So-
Nazir Stackhouse.
Is that Ty
All right.
Robinson still available
He
at the
is.
top? I'm taking
He
Ty
is.
Robinson, bro.
That's a
He's
good pick
double
too.
dipping.
That's a good pick too.
Yeah, I don't hate that. The only reason I'm not going to do that is because there's a guy at corner who I'm pretty sure is on the board who I do like as a slot corner competition for Beanie Bishop, and that is Cypress out of Florida State. I really like that kid.
All right.
I think he has he's got some upside and would battle Beanie.
Shower
then
Curtin
he-
asked. I'm sorry. Shower Curtin asked, "What do we have at O tackle?" Nothing, brother. We're rolling with it. We're rolling with Fuatano.
We'll sign somebody. It's no big deal.
Well, we got Fatanu Project, and
Yeah.
Spencer Anderson.
Anderson,
So
yeah.
I think
So
you
not
almost,
much, but
but
hope.
they're 2 first-round draft
Yeah,
picks.
I
You
get
got to
it.
roll them out there at this
You
point.
know, you have to. You absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I'm happy with mine. I got Burden plus I got 2 defensive linemen. Even Stackhouse is projected to be a starter, even getting him in the 7th round. He's actually projected to be a starter. So I'm pretty happy with that. Chuck in the 5th. Not sure it's realistic, but Alexander, I like that too. I don't know. Ollie Gordon's the only one where I'm like, I don't know, but that's really about it for me.
Let's see with the mix and match here what we get as far as a grade. So taking Hampton, we got dinged for that.
Yeah, you did.
They said we should have taken a tackle, Josh Simmons. There is no fucking way the Steelers are going to take a tackle in the first.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, why would they say that?
That's why their grading system's kind of fucked up. I don't love it.
It's heavily weighted to skill positions. If you ever listen to them, how they do it.
Ty Felton, a C in the what?
Yeah,
overall,
See, I don't get it. And Ty Robinson, a C in the 7th. Are you kidding me? The guy tested off the charts, man.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
It's the first time I haven't seen McCord graded out as an A. That usually helps when you get a quarterback that late.
You still got a solid B plus on that though.
Yeah, and it's and Jalen Noel, I think is C plus. I mean, if you're drafting him in the third round,
that's a good value pick.
The only thing I could maybe see there is okay, you take a corner in round 3, and then you flip around and you take Torrey Horton in the 4th round and double dip on receiver.
Okay.
You probably get a better grade that way. And I don't hate flopping Noel for Horton 1 round later.
No.
I mean, obviously we didn't put our Pegasus pick on the board. I think if we did in the 4th round, that would have been a pretty.
I think that had been at least a high B or an A because that's a value pick. Him falling that far, in my opinion.
Bob, do you have them written down? Do you want to read them off?
I do. All right.
Quickly?
So David takes Luther Burden. And in the 3rd takes Walker out of Kentucky. Then he takes Zy Alexander in the 4th to play corner. Shuck in the 5th. And then Ollie Gordon in the 6th. And Nazir Stackhouse in the 7th. Dave took Hampton, Noel, Pegasus. So did I. And then in the after the 5th round, we started to disagree a little bit. I took Kyle McCord. He takes Longbeam, the corner out of Rutgers. I take Dante Thornton. He takes Ty Felton for our double dip on wide receiver. He double dips on the defensive line with Ty Robinson. I went ahead and took Cypress out of Florida State as a slot corner to compete with Beanie Bishop and Eccles. I think that's pretty good value that late.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it. I mean, I understand what we're, when fans look at it and say, "Hey, our identity is defense. Our identity is defense." But I think we've kind of seen over the last couple of years of investing so heavily on the defensive side. Look, if you're a really good defensive team and have really good defensive minds coaching that side of the ball, which no comment, then theoretically you can draft younger guys and get a lot out of them.
Theoretically, yes.
Yes, theoretically. But if you're going to pay TJ Watt $40 million, you're paying Cam a lot of money, you're paying Minka a lot of money.
Yeah.
You got to start filling in the gaps with other guys. You're paying Patrick Queen a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you got to hit on a guy like Elliott.
Shower Curtin took Zabel at 21, which is interesting. I don't think they'd go guard there. He's top of the food chain guard, maybe the 2nd best guard in the draft. So that I don't know. That'd be tough. And then he took Henderson in the 3rd. I don't mind that. I mean, I don't think they're going guard in the 1st round, though.
I'd be shocked. I mean, that's 3 years straight taking O lineman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's good. That kid's supposed to be really good.
Oh, I have no doubt he is.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know that with everything. Look, if Uncle Aaron's coming, then I don't know that. Yes. And I think it's more likely than not at this point. I think you got to surround him with as many weapons as you can and just hope that you have picked the right people on the offensive line because you've invested a ton of draft capital over the last 2 years.
Well, let me ask you a question then. So then if that's the case, do they go ahead and draft guard high to make sure that's shored up?
I don't think so, because then you got Isaac there. I could see like Rutledge in the fourth. I could see, okay, like McCormick last year, you get a guy later in the draft who can come in
Right.
and potentially challenge and eventually take over for Isaac. I think
Okay.
if you're taking a first, you're getting rid of Isaac right off the bat, and I don't know that I love
That don't sound right to
strategy.
me either. But I
Yeah.
just didn't know if they're not high enough on McCormick to trust it. Does that make sense? That
Yeah,
they,
I think they are though. I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
think
wasn't
I want to
spec-
think they are, but I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about a 4th round pick here. I thought he more than held his own, but I just don't know what they're thinking.
they've invested a shit ton of money on defense. TJ, a shitload of money. They are second to last in offensive money spent on the offensive side of the ball.
right.
And last
Even
year
if you
is-
spend $30 million on Uncle Aaron, they only move up to 29th. That's
Right.
how far off on offensive spending they are with the rest of the league. Even if you do spend on Aaron Rodgers like 30 million.
Yeah.
They only go up to 20. When you think about their offense, like I think it's 75% of the starters are on their first contract, making no money. You know, you got the 4 out of 5 offensive linemen. You got Pickens. It's crazy. Frymuth's on his second contract. Other than that, it's Jalen Warren's on his second, but he's making no money because he was an undrafted free agent, so he doesn't make anything.
To answer TJ's question, which would we rather be as far as our position or the Bengals position? I don't like either. I would rather us be balanced. We are way too
I
much
want
defense. Dude, no.
Give me Joe Burrow and those 2 wide receivers over. I don't care. The
they're
75
gonna,
defense.
And they're gonna lose 80 to 70.
I don't think so, bro. I don't
They
think so.
they literally just. I mean,
I know they did, but this is
that
fired
didn't-
a DC.
the way
course
they
they
did
did.
it didn't work. But see,
It almost did.
the way we did
almost
didn't
did.
really work as good as we needed to either. That's why it
let-
needs to be balanced. You shouldn't be spending almost all your money on one side. Either way,
You're right.
Look
But
at the
if you're going to do it,
the Eagles is the right way
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it.
but if you're going to do it in 2025, you better do it on offense and not defense. Because if you do it
I
on
don't-
defense,
I don't
you don't have a
disagree.
shot.
I don't disagree there. Like
Yeah.
at least don't be almost dead last in spending on offense.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. I don't like that either. But I'm not trying to be like the Bengals either because it hasn't been successful.
Yeah. Well, look, the one thing I'll say is you go and you invest heavily in the defense. You're not getting what you're paying for. If you told me this was going to be the 2007 or 6, 7, 8 defense, or if you told me this was going to be the 70s defense, or even the Super Bowl defense in the 90s,
Right.
okay, yeah, I get it. We're paying for that. But, we're paying for a 36-year-old Cam Hayward coming off an all-pro year. We're paying for TJ Watt, who's, he's 31. We're going to be paying for the downside of his career, which is still going to be probably pretty good.
Yep.
But we're going to be paying $40 million for that. And at this point, you're way overpaying Minka for what you're getting.
Yeah, I
So-
agree with that one.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the defense goes, and then your other big contract is Patrick Queen. Is everybody happy with paying those 4 guys most of that money? I don't think so.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And then you throw
I-
Darius Slay at 10 million, which you have no idea what you're going to get. You could get the near Pro Bowl guy you got last year,
That's-
or you could fall off
that's
the cliff.
That's
you know?
another gamble. Fully guaranteed 10 million. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, really?
Yep. It's a risk.
Why don't we throw some incentives in there instead? Let's do that.
Brooke Pryor said that Uncle Aaron is not on Arthur Smith's wish list. Who was he looking? I guess he was looking for Justin Fields. Sorry,
Oh,
buddy.
Well, yeah, we
That
knew
ship
that.
has sailed.
We knew that, but it is what it is.
We know who's definitely not on his wish list, and that's Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
we
ship's
can
really sailed.
put that one to bed. He's not coming here.
Yeah, they're throwing the hate word around now. So,
Yeah. What's TJ saying here? Maybe they haven't been successful, but at least they're fun and have a plan. Did anyone else watch the last game versus the Ravens? It was embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get
We
it.
all watched it, brother.
I get it, but they just need to have a more balanced approach. I want them to have the Eagles approach. That's what I want.
Yeah. which means they got to start spending a little bit more on offense.
They invested in offense with AJ Brown and they drafted Devonta Smith, drafted Jalen Hurts, and then they spent money on defense. Then they switched it and they started drafting defense, spending money on offense. So I like that approach. Their idea of the on defense, at least for the Eagles, their idea of let's draft monster D linemen and then follow that up with drafting a ton of top corners was genius. Because
simple, but genius.
You got your big boys to stop the run, and you've got your top corners to stop the pass, and then your middle linebackers then are freed up to do whatever you want.
Yep. In fairness, they got lucky with Jalen Carter because he should have been top 3 pick.
Well,
and because he was a Georgia guy and was fucking up, he fell a little bit.
And they could have let him. They could have let him go, but they didn't. They took advantage.
Yeah, no, give him credit for it for sure because there were a lot of teams that scared to draft him.
We could add a pick of any corner we wanted last, and we passed on it.
Yep. Oh, they're still making mistakes in the draft.
Yeah.
Colbert made mistakes, and the Steelers are still making mistakes.
I'm right there with you. They both made mistakes. So,
you know what? I was going to save it for tomorrow, but there's one constant in this, and it's Mike Tomlin. And there was an article written from Pro Football Talk about how he was the one driving the bus on DK Metcalf. He had to have him, and he got him. So, all the fingers are going to point to him of how this season, ends up being. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this a lot more tomorrow. But Vaughn saying that Russell Wilson not off the table. I don't know if you caught Kaboli on Friday, but he threw the hate word around. He said if it's not coming from one of 3 people for the Steelers, everybody else is just guessing, and including him. He included himself in that list, and he said that's why I don't want to guess. But he says Smith and Wilson, he threw the hate word around, and he indicated
they hate each other.
Yeah, he indicated that Arthur Smith was a good guy, so I guess he didn't say anything bad about Russell, but I mean, he went out of the way to say, hey, Arthur Smith is a good guy. Russell, you never know. He's like, hey, you get the same guy all the time, so there's no way to tell if he's a good guy or it's an act.
I mean, me and Dave, we couldn't figure out why Denver was so adamant to get rid of him. I mean, they paid tens of millions of dollars for him not to play for Denver. And that coach is a good coach. Sean Payton's a good offensive coach. So for him to pay $40 million to get rid of Russell Wilson, something's not right. And I know a lot of people say, Sean Payton only had one quarterback and he hasn't done. Listen, the guy won a Super Bowl. He's generally regarded as an offensive guru. So he knows his shit.
But if you look at the stats, though, it looked like a good sign by us.
I know
the stats don't show what goes on in the game.
And when you're not a Broncos fan paying close attention to what the hell's going on, and
like when I watched in game, it was like, whoa, like multiple guys open, not seeing it. Just several things.
He's lost his athleticism.
Yep,
he can't scramble out of the pocket anymore. That was his whole game.
Yes,
that was his whole game, and now he doesn't have it. He's cooked.
Yeah,
and if anybody pays him, they said he's asking $20 to $30 million. If anybody pays him that, oh boy, I'm telling you, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
I think he's the guy. They talk about Aaron Rodgers. Well, maybe he'll wait and see if anybody gets hurt. I think that's Russell Wilson's only option at this point. Yeah, because Cleveland can't pay him that.
No, they can't pay him 20 to 30. If he wants to play for 5, like somebody had rumored a couple days ago.
There's some legs to that.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, I just want to play football. Okay.
Yeah. He might have to settle for something cheap and try to redeem himself. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah. He could end up with the Giants. I mean, I guess he could still. Right? They only pay Jameis backup money, but I think he's down to the position some people are saying Aaron Rodgers is putting himself in with. Maybe I want to see personally. My take on it is I don't think unless the meeting went bad, I don't think he comes to Pittsburgh if he's not at least more interested than not interested in coming.
I think it's like a 99% lock now. It's not a coincidence the Giants signed Winston the day Aaron came to Pittsburgh. They saw the writing on the wall.
He's their backup plan.
Yeah.
Just like Mason is ours.
So I think it's a done deal. Maybe Monday. People have been speculating he's going to announce it on the McAfee show on Monday. I think we hear something Monday. I really do.
And Wilson could turn into, like a Flacco kind of deal where he sits out for 6-8 weeks and somebody comes calling because they think they got a playoff run in them and a quarterback gets hurt. I mean, you don't wish injury on anybody, but I mean, let's face it, if you're halfway through the season and an emergency happens, okay, you're rolling the dice that Wilson all of a sudden comes in after sitting and has his, look, his pattern over the last few years has been, I have 5 or 6 really good games and I have 5 or 6 really bad games and then kind of in the middle games. And that's kind of, Steelers got that little run out of them when they were got to 10-3, where those were all the good games. Yeah. Then he fell off the table and had his 5 really bad games, which is what, me personally, the one thing about Russell Wilson, and we've only heard this, it's not like I know it firsthand, but the knock on him going all the way back to Seattle is he's fake. And me personally, I'd rather work with an asshole than a fake person.
Yep. TJ asked a good question in the chat. Seahawks traded away their quarterback and best wide receiver. Who wins the playoff game first, the Steelers or the Seahawks?
Guys,
now they replaced the quarterback with the best free agent quarterback out there.
But
technically,
is he
Darnold?
I know.
I know. I have my questions about Darnold
I'll tell you
too.
what. If he does it in Seattle, okay, my man found it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll admit, hey, he figured it out. Great. You flip. They got Smith and Jigba, and now they got Kupp, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And no DK, no who was the other?
Lockett.
Lockett, thank you, Tyler Lockett.
Lockett was kind of washed, I think.
So I don't know. I don't know who wins a playoff game versus. That's tough.
Jeez.
That guy in Seattle is a good offensive coach. I mean, that's why he got hired up there. Personally, though, if we've got Aaron, I think there's a better chance we win a playoff game this year than the Seahawks with Darnold. Darnold either learned from O'Connell and is now going to have the career everybody thought he was going to have, or he regresses and then Seattle's kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys on this topic. If the Steelers don't win a playoff game this year, who wins the next playoff game first, the Steelers or the Patriots?
Patriots.
I think so too. They got the coach. They got the quarterback. Now all they got to do is fill in the pieces. They got that defensive tackle from Philly.
I was about to say it depends on the pieces who they add.
Yeah.
They still got a year or two at least, guys. Yeah. I think
if it all falls apart with Aaron and we get the right quarterback next year, the only reason I say Patriots is because
they're 2 years ahead of us.
I think they're a little bit ahead of us. But if we end up getting the quarterback next year, I think for the next decade we could arguably have more success than they would.
That makes
sense.
But
it's just a race.
No, if we hit on quarterback, I think we're cooking then.
Steelers with Arch, Vaughn says.
Oh, I can only dream, Vaughn. Okay, I can only dream.
Let's just say we go 10-7 and win a playoff game with Aaron. He rides off to the sunset and says, "Okay, that's it. I'm done." How much do you trade to move up to get Arch Manning, if you can?
A lot.
Yeah, it's going to depend because if a team is at number one that needs a quarterback, they're not trading. You could offer them, Heinz Field and something. They're not going to trade. So you need a team that doesn't need a quarterback to get the first round pick, which is tough.
Yeah,
I'd still trade a lot to get in the top 10 and try to get one of these other quarterbacks that is supposed to be pretty good. The Tennessee kid. I know a lot of people don't like Drew Aller from Penn State. He's going to be maybe top 10. There's like 3 or 4 guys that are top 10.
There are 3 or 4 guys. This will be.
I would trade a lot to get into that top 10 and stop fucking around. And just start rebuilding.
I agree.
It's time.
Aggressive.
Allard left us. I mean, he could rescue it with a good year next year, but he really left a sour taste in my mouth.
Did.
The way he
There's a kid in South Carolina too that's supposed to be pretty good. Vaughn's right. He looks. So there's going to be 3 or 4. Maybe even 5 guys in that draft. So
they got to be aggressive and go get one of them next year.
Somber's right. We got to see Arch play. A lot of hype. Never started a game in college football. Well, maybe started one.
I don't want to hear Somber. I'm in love, and I've been in love. I don't want to.
It's the name. It's the name.
To be honest with you, we kind of hope he plays more like Eli than Peyton, because if he has Eli's senior season at Ole Miss, he's still a top guy, but he may not be the consensus number one. And if we want Arch Manning, I think we're going to have to do that because, look, a lot of things could go right here. Mason could come out and have a career renaissance and be great.
Oh yeah,
Uncle Aaron. Yeah,
Yeah.
Uncle Aaron could play lights out.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
Well, here's the thing. We do this every fucking year.
Yeah.
We win
If you're a
9,
betting
10
man,
games.
They're drafted 20 to 32, not
Correct.
19 to 1.
Right.
Yeah, they're drafted in second half.
We
We'll trade
need them-
everything.
We need them
You
to
got comp picks.
get in the top 15.
I'm sorry, dude.
Please
Yeah.
get in the top 15.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. Technically,
I-
if we're just talking specifically to get one of these guys without trading up. So, but
And you really got to hope it's one of the teams who, let's say Tennessee gets Cam Ward, and he's good, but he can't
Right.
lift that franchise out of whatever. But hey, we're good. We know he's the guy, so we're just gonna pick. And then maybe you go to them, say, hey, we'll give you. I mean, if you think Arch is the guy, then do you go 3 number ones?
Yeah, I was
I
going
mean,
to say,
it's-
if Arch is Arch, it's going to
Yeah.
take 3 number ones. Easy. And maybe a player, too.
Yeah.
Generational guy, if he plays
Yeah.
well.
yeah.
If he
And I
plays
think you got to do it.
well. You have
No,
to.
absolutely. Yeah.
You have to.
I
Yeah,
do.
I agree 100%.
Although I'll be honest with you, before I did that, I would call the Chargers, and I would call. I mean, now
Yeah.
that he's in Jacksonville, I might call them and say, "Hey, I'll give you 2 number ones for Herbert." Or
Yeah,
I'll
you
give
could go in that direction, too. Go for a young guy that somebody might want to move on from. You could do that,
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Who
Nico
we know is
Nico is
still
a
a good
Tennessee guy.
Yeah.
It's a last name that we're going to have to practice if he becomes a Steeler because it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yes,
All right,
it was
we're-
Roethlisberger way back in the day.
Yeah, that was a tough one too at first, but this one, Nico Alingal, I'm not even gonna try it.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say,
it's tough.
Just stop.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Lunga.
Yeah.
All right, we're well over an hour now, so I guess if you guys have paid attention to X at all, you know that Leanne and Zach are no longer with us. They've decided to move on. Apparently, they were unhappy with the direction of the podcast. Mike Tomlin comes to mind with I want volunteers, not hostages. So if they don't want to be here, that's fine. I wish them luck and whatever else they're planning on doing. It's a little disappointing, but we're going to move on. We're going to move forward, obviously. We're on a roll. Thanks to you guys in the chat. Thanks to you guys watching tonight. We really appreciate it. We hope you stick around. We got some big things planned. We're still going to do the draft. We're still going to have guests on the draft. We're still going to do Dave's draft bash game. As far as other people, we're thinking about adding a 4th. We're going to hash that out. We might do that. We might not. Now that we're down to 3, it leaves us more room to have guests on the show, which is exciting. We can have more back and forth with the guests. When it was 5 of us, that's a lot. I don't know. You guys have anything else to add?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, we wish Zach and Leanne well in whatever they want to pursue and do. But I mean, hey, things don't always work out between people, and hey, it didn't work out. It's not, and who knows? Maybe someday they'll want to come back. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, like Dave said, volunteers, not hostages.
Yeah.
And for those of you wondering who's going to be the sunny side, we're going to rotate. One of us every
That's
week
gonna
is
take
going to
some
have to
doing.
be the sunny side.
Yeah. I'm going to try to bring a balanced approach here.
Yes. See, I didn't rip Kevin Colbert today, so hey, today was my day to be sunny side.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. There was like 5 strong personalities, or like 4.5. So it was bound to have some tension, and they decided to go elsewhere. They weren't comfortable with it, and that's fine. I mean, that happens when you have that many strong personalities. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So we move on, and they'll move on, and
Good luck to those
That's
guys. I wish them the
good
best.
luck. And
Yeah, I love
is what it
Greg.
is.
Who's going to be the Najee fan? The Chargers.
Sorry.
For about a game and a half.
yeah, there's no Najee fan left. So if you're looking for that, you might have to go.
TJ, 5 was a crowd. I love you, crusty old angry Steeler fans.
That's what you got left, buddy. You got the crusty old Steeler fans, the angry ones. So
Yeah.
look,
And
that's what Steeler Sanctuary has always been. Me and Dave shaking our fists at the air at these guys, and Bob fits right in with us on that. And when they do good things, we'll be complimentary. They win games, they turn things around. If they have a plan, if they show a plan, if they instill a plan, we'll be very excited about it, and we'll be positive.
Yeah. I've already told them about, if they have another podcast, I'll be on. I'll come on if they ever want to have me on. I'll help them with whatever they need to set up and everything. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's amicable. It's amicable. It's just, hey, it wasn't working, so we moved on. Now, that being said, I know you guys in the chat are showing us some love. We really appreciate it. We're working on some stuff to bring you guys into the show where you'll be able to not just talk in chat, where we can bring you online. We've got a process we think is going to work, but we're still in the experimental phase. Hopefully by the draft, we can get you guys on to come on live and just say, kind of like talk radio where you pop in and give your opinion or make your statement, and then we'll react to it. But it's coming. It's coming.
I don't know who let this goddamn Bengals fan in the chat, but he's causing all kinds of ruckus here.
We're happy to have you, Henry.
Is this Leanne Burner? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mr. Warm Weather DK Metcalf. Oh, jeez.
Hey,
all right, guys, that's all we got.
Yeah, enjoy spending $150 million on a quarterback and 2 wide receivers.
I'm not going to be complimentary on the Bengals as long as there's a Bengal fan in the chat. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. We're back tomorrow night. We'll go over, hopefully, an Aaron Rodgers signing. Hopefully by then.
We'll see.
We may have a guest kind of working on that, too. Dave can't make it. His kid's got baseball hot and heavy this week, so softball. Dave's going to be out for a couple days. Mm-hmm. So we'll try to get a guest on. We'll have some fun. Until tomorrow night. Thanks for listening.
All right. Talk to you soon, guys.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.